Hello everyone, it's David Serpa. I'm back for my third and final video blog for IDS 403. I'm a little sad because it means that the class is ending and I've enjoyed it thus far. So for the final video blog, we are to take a stand on neo-evolution, talking about the implications on the form of technological research and development and whether or not we believe it's the right course for humanity. So there are 6 questions to answer, and I'm going to go through them somewhat quickly. I'm not going to rush this time around because I want to make sure I cover all the points that I want to address. Okay, so the first topic says, describe neo-evolution, what it is, and what the primary tenets are. So neo-evolution is the furtherment of human evolution by technological means. So using technology to enhance human evolution, whether it's changing colors of eyes or designer babies or just extending life. It can be something like that. So the next one is provide an example of a technology that is altering or may alter human evolution. So there was a good video posted this week on the forum modules regarding 23andMe patenting designer babies. So if that does ever happen, they just patent it at this time, but it could lead to screening of donors for sperm, further than what we do now, and you could actually get a genetic profile for the sperm that you get or the egg that you get and kind of figure out what kind of, it's sort of like breeding for the human race. I could see how that would change if things became popular, like everybody wanted a redheaded child or nobody wanted a redheaded child. Things that could be seen as abnormalities may disappear from our existence, which would be a sad thing, but it would be definitely changing or altering human evolution. Third question is, what are the potential benefits of this type of technology? So neo-evolution isn't just designer babies. It, as outlined in chapter 3 of the textbook this week, one of the readings this week, is that one of the main drivers of neo-evolution is life extension. It can also be used for life enhancement, and it can also be used as cosmetic. If I could inject something that changed the color of my eyes, that's not a need, it's more of a want. It's definitely something that would be cosmetic. However, if I started to have heart failure and I needed a new heart, and the doctors were able to 3D print me a heart or inject me with nano robots that could go and fix the damage that was in my heart, those are, life enhancing and life saving, and they would also extend my lifespan. In one of the videos that we watched this week, Christopher Barnatt, he talked about different ways that these technologies could benefit humanity and extend life. And he talked about 3D printing of organs, cryogenics, genetic medicine, for example, specific to your own DNA, medicines or injectables, let's say computerized antibody that knows your genetic code and can go inside of you and detect viruses or anything that's different, like cancer, and eradicate it. And that goes along with nanotechnology. So those are definitely benefits of the technology. Dr. Grossman was in the 124-year lifespan video or shelf life video, and what he had talked about was telomere therapy, extending life, because our DNA has something called telomeres, and it's basically the maximum length of lifespan that we can achieve before our DNA just unravels and it can't go anymore, despite whatever other improvements that we've utilized to keep ourselves alive. However, there are drugs and therapies that are being developed that can extend those lifespans of those DNA strands, or freeze them so you can continue to live past that 124-year shelf life. What are the drawbacks of that? Which leads me to the next question. The potential drawbacks of something like that are, and I believe are, who can afford those therapies? Who can afford those drugs that keep us alive? And if it's not done the right way, if pharmaceutical companies get a hold of it, it may become very expensive. And because it becomes expensive, only the elite may be able to afford it. And that could lead to, in a very futuristic view, it could lead to what I believe is class problems, where you have the upper class and the lower class. The upper class has very long lifespans, and the lower class become servants almost, where they live for 80 years, 50, 60, 80 years, and that's it, while you have the elite living for 150 plus years. And I think if that happens, it will kind of lock whole families into low life expectancies. And unfortunately, I think that would hurt humanity as well, because the elite aren't always the brightest and the smartest and the ones that will push humanity forward in a technological and smart way. So I think it could actually be a drawback for humanity and lead back to a type of almost slavery. So the fifth question is, what are the moral and ethical implications of neo evolution? Should we play God? If we can extend life, there's the class issue that I was just talking about, but even more so than that, do we have the right to live forever? If one of the things that was also talked about in the Barnatt video was uploading your consciousness into another body, either a biological body or a robot body, or to the internet itself. If we find a way to continue our lives indefinitely, is that the right thing to do? Is it responsible? The way that the population is growing now, we don't have enough resources to support the humans with the current lifespan that we have on this planet. We're looking at disaster. And if the population stops dying, is that responsible when we don't have a resolution for keeping our planet alive at this point? And the last question is, should we continue to pursue this form of technology? Yes or no? Why or why not? I definitely think we should, because it's the way forward, and the technology does have a lot of benefits. It's something that we have to monitor and control and make sure, and hope that guide it, so that way the right decisions are made at the right point. If there is life enhancing or life extending technologies developed, make sure that they're affordable and practical and ethical, and they reach out to everybody. As far as designer babies go, you don't want to become a breeding thing like we do with pets. We want to make sure that maybe you can only design your baby if you have genetic abnormalities in your family or something like that. So that way we don't run into a scenario like you see in science fiction, where there's some unknown problem that pops up because our gene pool was altered too much, and now it can't fix itself, or there's no cure for it. There's a couple of good TV shows on now. One of them, Orphan Black, they have clones, and one of the main bad guys, I don't want to get too much into the story because it's a little convoluted, but one of the main bad groups in it is actually called Neolution, and I think they were one of the originators of the clones, but the clones were the good guys in the show. But all but one or two of the clones has some kind of health problem that can't be resolved normally because of the original DNA was lost, or some silly thing like that. But we as humans, human society, humanity, don't want to end up where we're at a point where, because of the original path of evolution, we veered so far off of that path that we can't fix ourselves or find our way back, or we've lost track of who we are. So yes, I think the technology still should be pursued, but I think it should be pursued with caution. That's all for today. Thank you guys, and good luck in the class, and see you around.